we will see how method overriding works in Python. One of the OOPS concepts is polymorphism. Polymorphism is what is meant by polymorphism. Polymorphism is actually many things. Yeah, the object behaving differently in different situations, and same thing that is done in differently. Okay, it can be different. So same object that is behaving differently in different situations, and so poly means many. Okay, so the object behaving differently based on the situations, and so one thing that can be done in different ways. So and the Python is, we know that Python is scripting language, is interpreted programming language. Basically, polymorphism is achieved in two ways. In other languages like compiled programming languages, using a method overloading and method overriding. Method overloading is a compiled type polymorphism, but that is not supported in Python since it is not an compiled programming language. That is actually, you can see that method overloading in Java and C++. Yeah. So we don't have that compile time polymorphism. We have runtime polymorphism that is achieved using method overriding. Method overriding is actually subclass defining the same method. Okay. So what is method overloading? Don't be confused. We don't have method overloading in Python. But what is method overloading? A function defined with the different arguments. Okay. So same different functions with the same name, but different arguments, parameters. Okay, that is method overloading. You are overloading the name. That is how it sounds. So, but when it comes to method overriding, you are not. So same method. So presume you can actually, of course, can be different. You can subclass, in a subclass you can define the same method, but possibly you can also change the parameters. But the thing is that so the whole idea is that parent superclass and subclass both are having the same method, so that is overriding. Okay, so how it works, actually I'll explain, will demonstrate that by making use of an example here. So I'm actually defining something called class staff. Okay, so and inside a staff, okay, define init. Okay, so and we pass the argument id. Okay, so id. Okay, yeah, so sid. Okay, and the name. Okay, staff id name, self dot sid and self dot name equal to name. And I am actually, so if he is a faculty, he is also a staff. If he is a lab assistant, he is also staff. If he is a HOD, he is also staff. Okay, but a student is a person who comes to the college or university to learn. He is not a staff, he is a student. So I can define a non-teach. Okay, teaching staff. Okay, so and I'm actually inheriting this here. Okay, so here let's do this thing. Okay, define get id. Okay, this is another method which returns print, and I'm using to make it actually which from where it is getting called. I'm actually writing from which object it is. Okay? Format of self. Okay, and return. Okay, so let's put a college, university, uni equal to. Okay, what is some popular uni? You Stanford or MIT. Okay, so top universities. Tell me one name for a top name of. I'm using that as a common name. Okay, Oxford, let's put Oxford. Okay, Oxford. Okay, so to return ID, I'm actually OXF. Okay, first three words I want to take. Okay, from Oxford underscore, and then the actual ID I wanted to return, so that self dot format. Okay, self dot sorry, self dot unique, and I wanted to take first three, right, comma self dot si. Okay, so what is happening, I'm inheriting from here staff, right? I'm inheriting from staff, and I wanted to actually get so put this thing here, print. I wanted to put this thing here as well. Okay, print message, so I will understand. Okay, and the method, what method it is also. Okay, and so it is a init, right? Huh? Init. Okay, or I can actually simply use that difference also. Okay, dot init. Okay. So here also do the same thing, but here, which is get ID. Hmm? So I'm writing here define get ID also again. Okay, so what I'm doing now, okay, instead of 4 watts, and I wanted to add a T as well. Okay, T underscore, like this. Understand? Teaching staff. That's just actually Oxford underscore to regard to give an idea teaching. Okay, T and then staff ID. Okay, what happens here? Check this thing. So this is a thing. I have the same method here, same method here. But what happens when I actually instantiate this one? Okay, so if I don't define this thing, since I'm inheriting from here, this will be called. Understand? So same thing, let's check this thing. Let me comment this thing and let's put pass here. Okay, so I wanted to go to on my terminal. Okay, and so where is that one? Whoops. Okay, so Python 3, let's import this thing. Okay, import method overriding as envo. Okay, and I'm creating teaching staff s1 equal to, okay, envo dot teaching staff. Okay, I got an error. It makes sense because I have to, this init is actually taking on argument, right? Isn't it? But I haven't defined init here. That is what I wanted to make it clear. So teaching staff, that is what the inheritance is. Okay, so when you inherit, you are inheriting that your parent. This is called teaching staff is called a subclass, child class, or derived class, and a staff is called a parent class, super class, okay, a base class. Okay, so let's call it as a base class, and this is a subclass. Okay, so base class is the class which is getting inherited, and the class which is inheriting is called a subclass. Okay, so this base class or parent class is having all these properties, and since I'm inheriting from that class, I don't have to actually define them again. That is the code reusability. Okay, so I'm inheriting everything. So to make it clarified, okay, envo dot teaching staff, and check uni if you have, if you can refer. Can you see this one? Teaching staff, from the teaching staff, you can refer uni. So how is that possible? Because I'm inheriting. Okay. Because since I'm in a, like we inherit genes from our parents, it inherits all methods and attributes. Okay. So same thing, of course, you can, that is, of course, that is defined on staff. You can also get that thing on that staff clause itself. Okay. So let's do one thing here. Now, if I'm actually instantiating that, I have to pass the name, which is let's say Peter. Okay. Parker, Peter Parker. And okay, yeah, no. And two arguments it is taking, and the ID I have to give. Okay. And check this thing. Can you see this? Do I have init method on teaching staff? No. Okay. But when I call this one, can you see here? I have actually put the log message here from method overriding dot teaching staff. You know from where it is getting called. This is the object. Which object it is referring to? This object of teaching staff only. Understand? Okay, so because TS1 is actually is a result of instantiation, right? The result of the process of creating an instance is called instantiation, and we have instantiated teaching staff. TS1 is the object of teaching staff. Okay, and then you see this bound method staff.init. Okay, to make it clear, check this. Okay. Okay. Teaching staff, you know, TS1 is an object. Okay. That is what I printed. You can see here. Here I use the self, okay, which is the object itself. And the init, self.init, you know, and which method that is. That is a staff.init. That is not the init of teaching staff. That is what I wanted to make it clear. Teaching staff, I haven't defined init at all. Okay. So I haven't defined init at all. So, but what is this one? This is actually the init of staff that is got inherited. Okay, into the teaching staff. Got it? Okay. So, and if I call get ID, okay, ts1 dot get ID, what happens? Okay, so I use some format here, format. Okay. So yeah, exit this one. Yeah, ts1 dot get ID. What happened? Can you see here? This is again a bound method of staff. Okay, because that is got inherited. Okay, this is what the inheritance is, and you can see OX of underscore the ID that is got returned. So let's do one thing. Okay, let's do uncommon this one. Okay, let's uncomment the method we wrote. Okay, the uncommon this one. What happens? Okay. So now when I call get ID, okay, so this won't be called. This will be called. Okay, that is what overriding is. Okay, you are overriding the parent method by redefining it in a child. The same way, if you have some stuff in a file, if you write that again, what happens? Oh, you overwrite. What happens? You overwrite the content of that file, right? Got it? Understand? Yeah. So likewise, what is happening here? you are redefining the same method again, so that you are overriding the existing method that is in a parent or a base class. Okay, so if I go here and go exit this one, make sure you can see that. Okay, imported. And now if I actually define this ts1, you can see still which is a staff in it, because I haven't defined that. Okay, in it, so which is actually the inherited method only. Now ts1 dot get id, if I call, oh, again, okay, so this is a format, we made a typo there, let's correct that. Okay, so we wanted to re-import. Okay, ts1 dot get id. Now check what happened. So this is an object of teaching staff, and a bound method which is a teaching staff get id only. Got it? Previously check this. What was this? Not here. Okay, we got this format error. This is the one. Can you see? Previously it was actually calling. So when I haven't defined get id, what happened? It is the parent, method from the sub base class is getting called, right? Do you understand? Yeah, staff that get id, when I haven't actually defined get id in a derived class. Okay, so because same method is defined in a parent, that is got inherited, that is getting called. But when I actually define the same method in a derived class, which is overriding the existing method in parent class, we call it as a shadowing effect. So imagine like a shadow of this get method is on this. Okay, the same method defined in a parent class, so that is not visible. Okay, so it takes a precedence. Okay, the method in the current class in the child class takes a precedence. And if you have no such a method and it checks the parent, and if parent is not having such a method, then finally you will get an error. Okay, so you see this one, this is a teaching staff get id. Now you can clearly see, to give you a difference, I kept the t. Okay, you see this ox of t, right? Do you understand? Okay, so now, but previously when it is method from the base class is getting called, when method from base class is getting called, and it is returning oxf underscore 2324, right? Because we haven't added t there. So this is what the polymorphism is. The same thing, behaving differently. Okay, the runtime polymorphism. So if I do ts1 dot get full name, what happens? There is no such a method in the derived class. Okay, and no such a method in a base class. So first it will check the current object itself. It is not, no method is found. It will check for the parent. Yeah, if there's such a method, and if it is parent is not also having such a method, so finally, likewise it will go up by up, step by step, one step upwards till till the the super class, and if there is a multi-level inheritance, and finally nowhere that method is found, and you get the error like attribute error. Okay, so you see teaching staff object has no attribute. Okay, so but if I call this thing, how do I call? I really wanted to call, if I actually ts1 dot get id. Okay, so it is really, it doesn't call the parent one, it calls that the method in a derived class itself, in that object itself. But I deliberately want to call a method from its parent. How can I do that? Okay, so which is simple. Okay, so you can staff. Okay, dot, you got the get id. Okay, we call them as a, where is this one? Okay, mo dot staff I have to call, because since I imported. Okay, so staff dot get id. Imagine this thing. For what is first argument? First argument is self. Who is passing when I'm actually passing, ts1 dot get id? Am I passing self? No. The Python does the thing for you. Okay, self, the object itself, as a first argument is passed by Python. Okay, for you don't have to take care of actually passing that first argument. Okay, so that is done implicitly. But if you wanted to deliberately call that, so on this object, how to do that? Staff dot mo dot staff dot get id and ts1, which is the object. And if I call, you see this one, I'm able to call. Okay, I'm able to call that method. And there is one more thing. If the from the subclass, if you wanted to anytime, if you wanted to call the parent, okay, so parent method, you can do that. Okay, so this is how you can do. Okay, id for a generic id, okay. So how to do that? You have a something called a parent super. Okay, super of. Okay, and the class and the argument you will do. Okay, okay, that is how you will do. So what is this one? First one? Yeah. So that is how you can actually call. Okay. So there are multiple ways in Python, recent Python, you can also call this way. Okay. Super. Previously we were required to pass, self and then the argument class name. Okay. But now you can actually simply super and what function you are actually trying to call. Super means the parent. Okay, so get id. Okay, so check this one. Okay, if I run this thing, okay, if I run, so there are multiple ways. That is one thing. What I have done previously, that is we can pass that the class. Okay, and then the self we would have to give. Okay, let's check this thing how it works. Python 3. Okay, import method overriding as mo ts. Okay, ts1 dot get id, and check the logs here. Where is generic id? You see generic id, I got this one, and these are the two log messages you can see clearly. Okay, two log messages. Okay, which is actually the method, the teaching staff on the same method, but one is called with uh yeah. So and what it returns is from the sub derived class. This is from the derived class. This is from the parent. You can see, right? Yeah. So this is how you would use the super function to refer the method that has the same name. Okay. So you would use. You can see in the example documentation here itself. Okay. So you have a same when during the when you are dealing with meta overloading, so you can actually refer the Same method with the same name from the parent class or base class using the super. Any questions? Yeah, so here this check this thing ps1 dot we have checked, right? So ps1 dot get id is and if I ps1 dot init, which is a, you can see the bound method teaching stuff that get id when it comes to get id, but when here it is staff dot init since it is inherited one.